magnificent work. But Hugh Nibley has something of serious quality I want to share with you, in light of what Paul Foster Case says about the high priestess, and in light of the fact that our figure 7 is the god, and he is associated with two goddesses, the Wedjot Eye and the Nekeb Cow serpent. The serpent in the sky, the one who gives access to the gods, the unification of the male and female, father and son and mother. It just keeps getting larger in its perspective. So, page 187 we go. Mot, in the role of Isis. Remember, the Isis, the mother and wife of our Min Horus figure. Very important to keep these things in mind. That's why I keep reminding you, because the conjunctions and the parallels are staggering. So, Mot in the role of Isis, Hathor, Nephthys, etc. Notice they can all take on various functions, and this is one purpose why there are so many different types of symbolisms to associate the deities with their functions and their underlying meaning, which is never just a one-on-one correspondence. Well, anyway, Mot can also represent the female element in things analogous to the male universal God, with whom she is associated and even identified. She is identified with the male god, according to Tausing's Der Ägyptische Schicksalsbegriff. Well, anyway, her peculiar power to identify with others while remaining uniquely herself is in itself a special claim to duality. And here was my point. The duality of Mot, and the duality of the high priestess in the tarot. Interesting to keep in mind. Well, though already mentioned in Pyramid Text 260, the two Mots first make their formal appearance in the Book of the Dead in the Hall of the Two Mots. The interpretation of the two Mots, Jan Bergman concludes, is still completely unsettled, äußerst umstritten, among the Egyptologists. Well, a verdict confirmed by Tevelde. Duplication of a goddess or a pair of goddesses is often found in Egyptian religion, and in all these cases we have little or no indication as to the nature of this division. And that's what I'm wondering. Could this be the double goddess aspect of our figure 7 in the hypocephalus, with the serpent, the goddess number 1, Nekeb Cow, and the Wedjot Eye, Wadjet, goddess number 2? There's also two goddesses in our facsimile number 3, with which the Prince of Pharaoh and Pharaoh is identified. That was the subject of last year's Sunstone that I presented. Well, in Israel, and here's an idea that Nibley brings in from the Zohar. Bless his heart. He loved the Zohar. So do I. The Zohar is a most significant source for trying to get to the mysteries. Well, we don't understand the nature of the division. So, Nibley's quoting in the Zohar here. In Israel, the voice of Jacob is attached to two females. The wisdom, which is thought, and the wisdom, which is uttered. And on page 189 now, on one important point, the students seem to be in general agreement. The two Mots are not just a mechanical doubling or a pair of mirror images. They always seem to represent a kind of polarity, either the esoteric versus exoteric, or the north and south, day and night, living and dead. And so while Mot, by all accounts, stands for the basic principle of law and order by which all things exist, she can only do so by presenting the fundamental duality, or the law of opposites, by which, according to the Egyptians, there must needs be opposition in all things, as Lehi taught Nephi. Well, the two goddesses, in facsimile number 2, figure 7, being duality, these are separation. These could signify separation, They are presenting themselves to the unifier. Are they not? Min Horus, the father-son combination of the god, the embodiment of the at-one meant. Duality and multiplicity reunites into infinity. That's really interesting to keep in mind. And further, Well, I can't leave this out. On page 251, well, on page 251, yes, 251, same text, Message of the Joseph Papyri. Nibley notices the goddess Mot was most often called the daughter of Re, and remember, Re is associated with that wedge-out eye, as well as with men. And the goddess Mot corresponds to Horus, the sun. There we go, men Horus, all the deities together. And corresponds to Hathor, who corresponds to Re, the father. Well, she is the king's royalty itself. And all the coronation, or at the coronation, the new king becomes entirely fused with Mot as Lord of Mot. Now, get this quote. This is what I'm trying to get to. Thy right eye is Mot. Thy left eye is Mot. Thy flesh and members are Mot. The garment clothing thy members is Mot. What thou eatest is Mot. What thou drinkest is Mot. Thou existeth because Mot existeth. And this is said of Horus. But Re depends no less on Mot, without whom he cannot function as creator. You see, the god and the goddess, and this is the Elohim and wisdom in the Proverbs in the Bible. This is the wisdom figure of the Jews. Mot was something established by the primal god, and then periodically guaranteed by the king when he ritually overcomes the chaos of the universe to establish the world order. That's the principle. Mot displays a capacity unique among the deities of Egypt for fusing, joining, wedding herself with another in joyful and salutary combination. Of course, the union must always be proper and legal, since she represents, by very definition, legality itself. Well, Mot is the embodiment of every possible social relationship, male or female, and she is immune from the slightest hint of scandal, since she is honor, uprightness, and legality personified, representing truth, justice, and order in the corporate life. Three ethical values which are a reflection of the cosmic order. She represents things as they should be, the perfect status quo, which unfortunately does not prevail in this world. No kidding. She is wisdom, Chokhmah, Sophia. Beautiful. That's the point. She plays a dominant role as the most vivid personification in early Jewish and Christian literature. She is the female component of everything, without which nothing can exist, and without which nothing is complete. For Mot is the female principle, analogous to the male ruler of the universe. For the contemplative consciousness, it is all one and indivisible. This is at-one-ment. All one and indivisible. It says that on page 252. This is the at-one-ment principle. This is what I've been trying to say. All three facsimiles basically connect and put it all together. Well, Nibley's elaborating that Mot is wisdom, Sophia. In the Vayechi in the Zohar, this is the third volume of the Zohar by Daniel Matt, the Pritzker edition. This is from Stanford University Press, 2006, this year. The mystery of the heavenly curtain, that is the veil. This is on page 413, and the footnote on page 414 by Matt. The mystery of the heavenly curtain, the veil, refers to Shekinah, the female partner, wife of deity. She is also symbolized by the moon, and the high priestess in the tarot card, Paul Foster Case showed, is associated with the moon, as Gimel is with the crescent moon, as is Diana, the Greek goddess. And interestingly, too, Howard Schwartz, in his Oxford University Press book, published in 2004, very recently, The Tree of Souls, The Mythology of